Hey everyone, how's it going? It's time for a Sleeping Dogs review. I just beat the game just now, and I'll give you guys my thoughts and everything like that. So, I'm not going to go over again the story behind this game. I think everyone knows by now, what this game went through and what it was originally intended to be. So, with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and jump in straight to what I thought, alright? Now, I didn't expect that much from this game. I expected it to be fun, but really not as in depth and as complex as it actually was when it delivered it. Of course, to talk about the story, I didn't really expect that much from the story, to be honest. And it surprised me when playing the game. I actually got into the story a lot, and I started caring for the characters. And by the end of the game, I was just really surprised what the game did in terms of the story, because it was pretty awesome seeing your character having kind of two different personalities. For one, because he's an undercover cop, and then the other for the triads and stuff like that. Sort of like a badass. So I didn't. The story was really kind of surprising at times, because there's this character and he's kind of acting out, the majority of his life. So it was interesting to see that as the story progressed. But I really enjoyed the story for what it is. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything at all. So, but if you already beat the game, you already know it's a pretty good story. And that twist at the end, like at the very end, when they show that twist, I mean, I was really surprised too, because I was watching some other reviews and some people were saying that the game is predictable, that you can see things coming, and I don't know if I'm just stupid or what. There wasn't any point in the game where I just said, oh, I expect that to happen, the game kind of shocked me. There are a couple shocking moments in the game where you're just like, wow, I can't believe that happened. So for these other reviewers who are who are rating the game down, saying, oh, the story's, not that great, I actually enjoyed it a lot. I found myself liking it very much so, and it actually was something I actually cared to progress as I played through the game. It was something I wanted to see more of the story. So the cutscenes are, pretty much well made. If it wasn't, there's cutscenes when you go to talk to characters, like, of course it's an open world game, so you drive to an area, you have two different story options. You have the triad and the police options, alright? The triad options usually involve, in terms of stories, progress that towards that type of separate storyline, and then the cop missions are more about, Wei as a character, trying to see how he's going to be going through the whole triad and everything like that. So the story is so that's how kind of the story progresses. There's two different sides, and there's two different goals for those sides, and it's pretty interesting because, like I said before, he's basically acting out two different personalities, and towards the end of the game, or later on in the game, you'll see he actually cares for the people that he's friends with, that he's really the life that he's trying to act out. He starts to really care, and it kind of leaves you wondering, what's gonna happen. So, but I like the story. I think they could have done a little bit more with it. I thought, in terms of the ending, I thought would have been really cool is they actually would let you choose between like two separate endings, because there really is just one ending. There is no two separate or three separate endings, like you'd find in games like Mass Effect or yeah, any or mostly any other open world game. There's not really any separate way for the story to end. It just ends in this one, kind of linear style. And I would have really liked it if they would have said, like, okay, you have to make a choice now. Either you help the triads, or you stay with the police department and actually do your job. I think that would have been a really cool thing to have that kind of choice in the end, because that would, really make you think, like, what would the character do in that situation? So, but as they did do the story, I think it was pretty good, and it definitely is really interesting, and it'll keep you going, and it'll make you want to find out more. So, that's the story. Graphically, now I played the Xbox 360 version, alright, and the reason I actually was gonna get the PC version originally, but I'm one of those people who actually prefer to have a physical copy of any game I buy. I don't like to have these digital copies laying around because yeah, I like to when I purchase something, I'd actually like to feel what I purchased for. You know, I'd actually like to hold on to the value. You know, it's just a thing I have. I prefer a physical copy of whatever I pay for. That's the old reason. So. Um, since the PC in North America for some reason is PC download only, I know in Europe they have the physical retail copies for PC. They don't sell them in the US. They don't. I don't know why. They just don't. Alright, it's only digital copies. So I went ahead and I got the 360 version. And what I can say graphically is that the game looks really good. In fact, at times it's pretty impressive, the draw distance, and when it starts raining and you see all the reflections and stuff like that, it looks really nice. Alright, now given if you got this on PC, of course you have that DirectX 11 support with those real-time reflections and bloom effects and everything like that to make the game look a lot better. But for the console version, the game looked pretty nice, and the character models were pretty good. And I really don't have anything bad to say about the graphics. The only bad thing I have to say, really, the only negative thing about the graphics is that it seems, at least on the Xbox 360 version, I haven't played the PS3 version, and I haven't even played the PC version. I should download the demos, but it seems that on the 360 version, when I was playing it, there's some huge anti-aliasing issues. There's a lot of jaggedy edges, especially, like when you're just standing still. You'll see jaggedies across his whole body. When you look off into the distance, things are kind of out of focus, and things you can tell there's like a little bit of pop in. And I installed the game onto my hard drive to play it in the first place. I do this with any open world game. I always install it on the hard drive if it's a 360 game. So for that being said, that was really the only issue graphically. I thought the game looked fantastic. Just the anti-aliasing issues were like the only problem for me, but it didn't take away so much to the point where you wouldn't feel immersed at all. In fact, one of the great things about this game is the fact that it does a great job immersing you in the environment. It's Hong Kong, and it really does give you a different sort of setting for video games, because mostly open world games take place in huge cities and stuff like popular American cities like New York, Los Angeles, and most of them don't take place in places like Hong Kong. So it was a really nice, refreshing thing to see the Hong Kong environment. And I mean, I don't know if it's a real representation. I haven't been to Hong Kong at all personally, but they got a lot of back alleys, and it really makes you feel like you are there. One of the really cool things about immersive detail in this game is the fact that every car has a unique license plate. At least it seems that way. I was driving. It's one of those kind of small attention to detail things that you notice. But I was driving, and I noticed my car actually had an official license plate. And I went to go drive by a couple other cars to see if they had the same number or anything like that, because like mostly open world games, even like Grand Theft Auto 4, it just says Liberty City. For Sleeping Dogs, it'll be like Hong Kong, whatever. That's what your license plate would be like. And I drove by a couple cars, and each of them had unique license plates. So it's pretty awesome when you have those attention to detail moments, unique license plates on your cars. I mean, that's a really small detail, but it really does help you immerse in the environment. All these back alleys are there. There's lots of people walking and shopping on the street. You drive on the opposite side of the road, and of course your steering wheel's on the opposite side, for us in America, that is. And like the first it took me like a couple hours to get used to being in this setting, driving on the opposite side of the road, and knowing my steering wheel is on the opposite side as well. It took me a while to get used to it, but once I did, I felt so immersed that after about 3 days of playing, I went back to basically here, California, and I almost drove on the wrong side of the road. It was kind of funny. I think Reality Pails almost did that too. But this game does an excellent job at immersing you in the environment, and you really will feel the need to explore. It's really fun to explore the environment. Um, Gameplay wise, it plays pretty much like your typical sandbox game. That's the thing. Like, in terms of a sandbox experience, the game doesn't really have anything unique going for it except the Hong Kong environment, and it's kind of odd because this game's pretty simple. It's like bare bones, but I just had a lot of fun playing it. It's kind of hard to explain because there's nothing in here that you haven't seen before, but the game's just incredibly and just it's just addicting. I don't know why. It's just really addicting. I found myself playing this thing for hours and having a blast. Over the course of 3 days, I put like 15 hours in the game. It was crazy. So, but it's hard to explain what makes this game really addictive, but it just is. It just is. There really isn't anything special about it. It's just a really fun, addicting open world game. So I really enjoyed that. I mean, I wish I could say what exactly made it the most enjoyable experience, ever, but I just enjoyed the game. Really, there isn't anything in there that's just unique except the Hong Kong environment. So, but yeah, overall, I think Sleeping Dogs is a great game. I think it's been underrated by a couple people. But at the same time, I don't think I don't think that that any person will play this game and think it's below average at all. This is a pretty damn good game. It's one that deserves your money. If you're still wondering whether you should pick it up or not, whether it's worth the $40 or if it's $60, I'd say go ahead and get it. If you love open world games, if you're one of the people who've been waiting for a new game for a while now, this is definitely not one to pass by. Wait for a price drop at least, but just don't miss this game because it has a really good story, really good twist. The graphics are pretty good too, and it's just a really fun and addicting game. So I'm gonna give it a I'm gonna give it a 9. All right. I'm going to give it a 9. And I clocked in 21 hours in the game, alright? Another thing I want to note is also, I actually, during the 21 hours, I kind of cheated, but not really since, it's allowed. But I kind of paid my way to progress in the game. I bought the Top Dog DLC pack, which gave me $5,000, an automatic boost to face level 5. Now, face is sort of your reputation. The higher face level you have, the more you can purchase better clothes, better cars. All of this requires a certain face level. So I got an automatic upgrade to level 5, and it helped me a lot. So during 21 hours, I was able to max out my face. I maxed out my cop score, basically by doing all the cop missions and doing side missions as well as you upgrade your cop score. I forgot the full name of it, and then I actually topped my triad score as well, which is basically you doing the triad missions and you get points and stuff like that. So I maxed out my face, my triad, and my cop score all in one playthrough. I collected 11 out of the 12 unlocks. Now there's 12 unlocks throughout the city. There's statues that you have to find, and what's really awesome about this is that the statues that you collect, you actually bring back to your old trainer, who owns like a martial arts club, and every time you bring back a new statue, he'll teach you a new move. So it's pretty awesome because it gives you that incentive to say, alright, I want to go out and I want to look for these statues. But I didn't really look for them at all. Like, I didn't take the time to look at them, like just search every single city. Just by playing the story and doing all the side missions, I was able to collect 11 out of 12, alright? I might just look up on the internet where the 12th one is, just so I can have it and get that achievement, if I ever wanted to do that. But I do like that about the collectibles, is when they actually do mean something, which a lot of these games, they really don't mean anything. You unlocked a bonus concept art in the extra menus. So, I mean, at least in this game, they're giving you new moves for combat and everything like that, and they really are effective sometimes. Like, there's a couple moves in there that I learned that I really did use a lot during my combat sequences throughout my playthrough. So, I was impressed by that. But like I said, I completed the whole story. I did all the favors. They're like side missions. I basically did all the side missions except for there are 3 missions, but I think they're hidden missions, meaning that you just have to drive and all of a sudden it'll be like, hey, help me out, just randomly, and you have to go over there and help the guy out. I think they're those kind of missions. But as far as the missions on the map, there's 30 side missions. I've done 27 out of 30 so far, and so I basically did I basically did everything with the story, and I got 21 hours in the game. So it's a good game, and you can probably get a lot longer in there if you really wanted to do collecting trophies and everything like that. But you're gonna at least spending about 15 hours in this game, which is pretty good. You know, that's a pretty good time for a game like this. You know, especially these days. You know, games tend to be really short, and they don't give you any value for your money. But this one does. So, all right, that's it. 9 out of 10. One of the best, I want to say one of the best games of the year. I don't know if I'm going to rank it because it's not number 1. It's not this isn't my game of the year so far, alright? It's kind of battling right now between Mass Effect 3 and this game. They're kind of battling for second place. I just don't know. I think I may give it, I think I may, actually, yeah, I'm gonna give this, okay, this is my second favorite game of the year, because Mass Effect 3 kind of got a little bit repetitive, and then it got the ending, which wasn't really that self-explanatory, so that bumps it down to third place. But just don't miss up on the game. Don't miss on the game, alright? Get the game. I said that wrong. Get the game. It's a really fun experience, and you're gonna have a blast playing it if you're into this sort of game, or if you just want a good game to play until the next big thing comes out, alright? So don't pass up on this. Get it. 9 out of 10. Second favorite game of the year so far. And I'll see you guys later. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.